Hello, all you scaredy cats and kittens, and welcome to the Two Scaredy Cats podcast, where we talk about all things strange, unusual, and paranormal. We're your hostess with the mostest. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Kara.
So, Kara, what have you been up to these past couple weeks? I know you've been traveling a little bit, right? Yeah, you did travel recently.
No, I've been at home for a while.
Okay.
I'm just trying to catch up from all the traveling and preparing for my next bouts of travel.
That's right. I forgot. Okay. Yeah.
I've just been editing and trying to catch up on the mountain of work.
Oh, I bet.
From summer. We went to the Mac and Cheese Festival, though.
Oh, yeah? And how was that?
But that was fun. They sold out, which was kind of crazy.
Really?
Like, they were turning people away.
Wow.
Like, a lot of families were trying to show up.
Huh.
So you almost had to, like, make sure you had a ticket in advance. It was really good because, like, you could buy these drink tickets, basically, you know, for beer and wine.
Mm-hmm.
It was decently priced, like $7 for a drink ticket. And they give you a huge cup of it.
That's good.
And then just all you can eat mac and cheese.
Wow. Yum. What kind of mac and cheese did you have?
You stand in a little bit of a line for each of the booths, but they give you like little cups of them.
Oh, nice.
Like a little cup of mac and cheese.
Yeah, cool. Were you allowed to go back for seconds, or was it only?
Yes.
Ooh,
yeah, you could go
my
back.
God! So you could eat yourself stupid on mac and cheese.
So you could go to your favorite one, basically. Like there was one that was really good. It had like a little piece of chicken on it, like chicken karaage from like a Asian restaurant.
Oh, neat.
I was like, I never thought like an Asian restaurant would have like really good mac and cheese, but it slapped.
Wow, that is pretty cool. Did you try any lobster mac and? Did anybody have lobster mac and cheese?
I
there?
wish.
Oh,
there's no way they were going to do that.
They couldn't afford
They did
that.
have some brisket mac and cheese though. That was really good.
Yeah, it sounds good. I could be down for that.
And then there was one that had mushrooms in it. I did not like that one.
Of course you didn't. I know you don't.
Of course I didn't. They were like, "Oh, it's truffle." I'm like, ugh. Or I don't remember what it was, but it was some sort of
probably like truffles, which are kind of a mushroom kind of flavor.
Is that a mushroom type?
Yeah,
it's a type
it
of
is.
mushroom?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only one I did not like. I took like one bite. I was like, I can't. I don't like. It has a weird like earthy texture. I don't like.
Yeah.
But the rest were really good.
Cool.
And it was nice that like it wasn't a big deal if you didn't like it. You could just
toss it.
Just grab one from another booth. There was you could tell the really good ones though because they would have longer lines.
Yeah, you can always tell. Like when you.
Oh, they had a mac and cheese ice cream.
Oh God, that sounds.
It was macaron, but listen, it was macaron and cheesecake flavored ice cream.
Oh, mascarpone and okay.
Macaron.
Oh,
like macaron.
Oh,
macarons.
Okay. Oh, hello. Yeah. Okay, that sounds awesome.
And then macaron. What did I say? Cheesecake flavored. It was really good.
That sounds amazing, actually.
It was sad, though, because they did run out of it.
Aww.
Sometimes the booths would run out.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
So that was the only thing. It's kind of better to go early just to get all the goods.
Yeah. Sounds really good.
But then it was nice because it was in Easton Town Center. And it was for cancer research.
Yeah.
So it was donations and stuff, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And it was like in Easton, so we just went to a bar after and hung out a little bit. Because it ended at like 7 or something.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah.
So it was nice.
Yeah.
We hung out a little bit before we headed home.
Nice. Fun.
Yeah, we went to Pins. I don't know if you've heard of Pins.
It's like duck pin bowling, isn't it? Where they have like, it's like smaller type of bowling.
It's a bar, but then there's like Pins,
Or do you mean like
bowling alleys?
Yeah.
You can go, and they have mixed drinks and stuff.
Ah.
And there was also an arcade room.
Huh.
So you could, because it was combined with a 16-bit.
Oh, okay. Cool. That sounds
so
neat.
That was fun.
I think there's one around here somewhere. I feel like that sounds familiar.
I think there probably is because it's a Columbus thing, but they probably
expanded to
Ohio
Cincinnati.
thing,
Expanded.
Sometimes they have if they have stuff in Columbus, they'll also have it in like Cincinnati.
Yeah, I've noticed
Cleveland.
that. Yeah, if it does really well, they'll expand south and north.
Which makes sense.
Yeah,
because it's not too far from their home base.
Right. Huh. Sounds cool.
Or wherever. Yeah.
Well, let's see. What have I been up to? Oh, I had the fun of...
what have you been up to?
I'd take your brother shopping for a suit for his job interview. So that's what I did on my weekend. And then me and Dad went to... we were going to go to this really cool winery out here called Holt Camp Winery. But there was some kind of... It is like way out in the country. So we drove all the way out there. We get out there and we're getting ready to park. And there's like tons of people there. And there's like porta potties. And I'm like, nope. I'm not in the mood to, sit down and drink wine and have to use the porta potty when I have to go to the bathroom. So I was like, no. So we decided it was too crowded. So we went to another place that I had heard about from some friends. It was supposed to be really good, and it was really good. It was also out in Indiana, so it was a drive to get there, but it was cool. It was neat. They had really good food, and then there was a band playing too while we were there, so that was kind of interesting and different. And then, and I visited Grandma last Wednesday. Oh my gosh. Okay. So while I was there, I have not had a chance to review anything yet. I brought my recorder with me. Because remember, I told you she talked about they heard like the weird noises in the house or whatever, or someone talking and clearing their throat and stuff, and it wasn't Dad. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll humor her. Because she wanted me to bring my recorder. So I brought it. And I went around their house in the areas where she said she heard the weird noises and stuff and was recording to see if I picked up anything. Now, I've not gone over this stuff yet, so I don't know if I've gotten anything or not. So I will have to listen to that, hopefully. Yeah. In the next couple days.
Were you by yourself in the house at least?
No, they were in. Oh my God. And I was about ready to strangle them both. Grandpa was.
The whole point was to be going to be quiet.
I know. I told him that I needed to be quiet, and Grandpa's in there screaming about, he was hungry. And he had hurt his back. They think he has sciatic or whatever, which is, I remember I had that one time when we went on vacation and I could barely walk for like a long while and I had to go to therapy. Well, that's what they think Grandpa has. And he's having a hard time, a really hard time walking, more so than usual. And so he was going to go to La Rosa's. You know how much he loves La Rosa's. Well,
I know.
He didn't go because he said he was in too much pain. So we made him a ham sandwich before me and Grandma went do what we were doing, because she wanted me to go check out this place. But they sell like craft stuff there. Like people bring in their crafts to sell, but it's like in a normal store. It's kind of different. It's like in a drugstore actually. And there's 2 locations. So we went to both locations. We went to the one that was near them first. And then we ate at the Greyhound Grill, which is, you remember the Greyhound Grill? We ate there when, for Mandy's wedding. Remember that? Oh, when you were little? You don't remember that? You were one of the flower girls in the wedding, and we ate there for the rehearsal dinner. But anyway, so me and Grandma went there and had lunch, and then we went to the other one, which was like out in Independence, out past them. She's trying to woo me into selling my stuff there, Grandma is. So I talked to the people that own it, and they're like, yeah, here's a contract, and call this lady, and she'll, get you set up if you want to do this. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, but I did get these really cute ceramic dog and ghost cats. They're really cute. It's like a pair. Aww. I just wanted the ghost cat, obviously, because, we're the 2 scaredy cats. And a cat dressed up in a ghost costume I thought would be really cool to have.
Yeah, that's really cute.
But no, apparently I had to buy both of them, and I didn't want both. I only wanted one, and so I bought both because, I was too cute and I couldn't pass it up. So we now are the proud owners of a ghost dog and a ghost cat.
Yay.
Yeah. But other than that, that's all that's been going on around here. I think I went first last time, so I guess you're up first this time. So what do you have for us this week?
All right. Well, first, I want to talk about some paranormal news
okay.
just came out yesterday from NASA.
Oh.
So that's fun.
It's always interesting when NASA tells us stuff.
Oh, I know. So I don't know if you guys heard, but there's a comet heading towards Earth. And NASA just announced that it's bigger than they had believed.
What? Bigger than what they thought?
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's believed that the comet has technology on it.
What?
And they believe it's actually alien technology.
Stop it, really. People have been claiming that they think it's some type of alien craft thing.
Well, spacecraft. Yeah, that's actually what one of the scientists said. Obviously, it's a very controversial take right now in the space community. But it's still interesting.
Yeah. When's this thing supposed to come closest to us? Is it November or is it this month? It's either this month or November.
It's coming
soon.
Coming towards us.
Right, yeah.
I don't know.
It's not a direct hit, but it's supposed to I thought it was supposed to come really close.
As it gets closer, we're getting more information about it. Mm-hmm. So this is the most recent update about it.
Wow.
So they estimate it could be the range from the length of 1.6 miles to 14 miles across.
Holy moly, that's crazy.
Interesting. That's a very big. And most controversially, Leb and his team believe that the celestial passerby could potentially be an alien probe that was set to conduct a renaissance on Earth, possibly with hostile intention.
Oh my gosh. Wait a minute. This is
like a real article that I found. It was on the New York Times.
Really? I have to go check this out. Wow, this sounds crazy. Like,
that's why I was like, this is wild.
Like this is a sci-fi movie come to life. I mean,
and specifically because we're recording this on September 30th, so the article came out on September 29th.
Okay, so it
just
was
for context,
yesterday,
since you'll be listening to this later,
right? Than originally recorded, yeah.
So the hypothesis in question is that 31 Atlas, that's the name of
the craft
that they're calling it, is a technological artifact and furthermore has active intelligence. If this is the case, then two possibilities follow. First, that its intentions are entirely benign, and second, malignant. There are also some speculation that could be a spacecraft, like I said. So that's what we've heard, which is interesting. That even scientists would say that. Because that's not normally what scientists be saying.
No, they're usually like it's natural.
They're normally very like, we don't want to speculate.
Or something, yeah. Wow. It's starting to get real, people. It's getting real.
I'm like, who knows what's going to happen?
Right? God. Ugh.
But it is curious. And as it gets closer, we'll get more info. Because like, I guess with the way that it's like traveling, the heat is in the front instead of the back, which is peculiar.
Okay.
I'd look into it and read. You can read more about it if you just look up
the asteroid name, right?
Asteroid. It was 31 Atlas.
All right, so look up 31 Atlas if you want to find out all the latest.
Yeah, there's probably way more deep dives and more sciencey stuff that we probably don't really understand.
Mm-hmm.
We're just two girls.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We don't know.
Yep.
I see Alien though, so that's why I was interested.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But so the actual topic, so I don't know if you knew this, but there was a new Silent Hill movie game that came out recently.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that
last week. Yeah, it came out. It actually takes place in Japan, which is new because normally it's like takes place in like Pennsylvania or something.
Okay, weird.
So this one takes place in the 1960s in Japan, and a lot of it is about like yokai and like folklore stuff.
Yeah, ghosts.
But specifically, a recurring theme is the spider lilies.
What?
So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of, you know what I'm talking about, the spider lilies.
No, lilies or spider lilies?
Spider lilies. It's a type of plant.
Oh, never heard of it. Huh.
Well, now you're going to find out about it because there's a lot of interesting lore about it and like superstitions in Japan. I actually got to see one when I went to Japan.
Wait, is it a real plant?
Yes, it's called. That's why I wanted to talk about it.
Interesting. All right.
A real plant called the spider lily. It looks really creepy, actually. Like in a cool way, though.
Yeah, I'm going to have to buy one of these. Okay.
I'll have to send you a picture. I took a photo of one when I was in Japan. So they're very interesting. So I want to talk about the superstitions surrounding the spider lilies. They're considered ominous flowers that grow in hell and guide the dead into the next reincarnation.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So they're very ominous.
Yeah, never heard of that ever. Wow.
The spider lily, also known as the higanbana or equinox flower, they are known as that because they seemingly shoot up overnight right around the time of the eternal equinox, which actually just happened.
Oh, okay.
September 20th is the equinox.
Right, yeah. For
fall.
The
one going into winter.
It's the autumn equinox, yeah.
So specifically, this is the time of year that the spider lilies bloom.
Oh, really?
In Japan.
Interesting.
Yes. That's why I got to see them. That's why when I went to Japan was around this time last year.
Yeah. Huh.
So I did I found one just like walking around the neighborhood we were
crazy.
Staying, which is kind of interesting. Yeah. The flower is also known by some other interesting names, such as the ghost flower, the fox flower, the resurrection flower, the hell flower.
Oh, okay.
Corpse flower.
Oh, wonderful.
So, as you could tell, it's very associated with death, specifically. This is actually like a story of how the spider lily came to be, like folk legend. A devil fell in love with a human girl. The devil's love was unrequited because the girl did not like the devil at all because he had a fearful look. Therefore, the devil imprisoned the girl and expected one day she would feel touched by the devil's love and change her mind. One day, a soldier passed by the devil's place. The soldier resurrected the girl from the prison and killed the devil. When the devil died, he returned to hell, but his blood splattered on the earth. Unrequited love hurt the most, and after the devil's death, Scarlet Red Spider Lily grew from the spot where he died.
Ooh.
This spot became the bridge to hell, connecting the hell and the earth. It's very interesting.
Yeah, very creepy.
Yeah. Some believe that taking the flowers inside your home will make them angry and your house will set on fire, or that your mom will die, which is a very weird and/or. So either your house gets set on fire,
nice.
Or your mom dies.
Wow, wonderful. This sounds
so
great.
It's like, it's very taboo to take these flowers into your home.
Okay.
But it's also for good reason, because they are extremely poisonous.
Really?
The bulbs of the flower are so poisonous that they would purposely plant them near rice fields to keep out pests.
Wow.
Like mice or
from eating all the
insects.
to eat all the rice. Wow.
And they would also be planted near graveyards to prevent animals from digging up the dead.
Oh, creepy.
So you see why they have a lot of association with death, since
crazy.
That's kind of. But they look so ominous, actually. Like when you look them up, and they're like scarlet red. They're like bright red.
Huh.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But that is what I found out about the spider lilies, and I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, that does sound interesting. And now
and very topical, since this is the time of year they bloom.
Yeah, really.
There are some in the U.S. They're normally in China, Nepal, Japan, that kind of region.
Yeah.
They're actually an invasive species, though, where they are from. They're like considered a weed, technically. Yeah, but there's a lot of interesting folklore about them. And so they're used all the time in media. Normally you'll see them, well, especially in the Silent Hill. If you watch the trailer, it's all spider lilies, and they just keep blooming in the city.
Huh.
Where this is taking place, which is obviously a symbol of kind of like death.
Right.
It's kind of, definitely interesting game. I haven't been playing myself, but I've been watching someone else play it. And it looks really cool.
Interesting.
Those games are sometimes too scary for me to play.
Didn't they come out with a new Silent Hill movie or a series coming out soon on Silent? I thought there was a series or something coming out based off of Silent Hill. I thought I saw that somewhere. I could be wrong.
Might be. I don't know. Sometimes the movies are like not good.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Silent Hill movie?
Yeah, the original, yes.
Yeah. I feel like it's the way the game format is just better. They just can't replicate it good enough.
Yeah.
In a real setting.
Yeah. Yet, anyway. Wait.
Yeah, they probably could, but they need a good visionary.
Yeah.
Cuz it has it's such one of those like cult classic games, I feel like it's really hard to replicate.
Yeah, and people are so attached to it that they're going to get mad if you don't do it the right. You know what I mean?
Yes,
the way they think
exactly
it should be done.
What they believe.
Yep.
Or what they're envisioning. So it's really hard to kind of do those kind of movies.
I get that.
And a movie is just a hard thing because a game is way more.
More frames per minute and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got longer gameplay time, too, so it's hard to tell the whole story in, an hour and two, and the real game may take you, 20 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact length, but... Because I played one of the games. Me and Jake played it, the third.
Okay.
Or he would watch me play it.
That's funny. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
You two playing games and him watching you play a game, or Sam watching you two play a game while he's not allowed to play it. Yeah.
But what's your topic for the day?
Okay, so I don't know if you've ever heard of this. I had never heard of this. It's called the Corpsewood Manor Murders. Have you ever heard of this?
No, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, this is coming out of Georgia. So, in the winter of 1982, there was a doctor by the name of Charles Scudder and his partner, Joseph Odom, who found brutally murdered in their medieval castle of a home that they had built by their own hands in the middle of the Chattahoochee Forest in northern Georgia. we got to back up a little bit. So during the 80s, okay, there was this big thing going on with what we called the Satanic Panic. And it was if anybody's ever heard about this, but it's very interesting. So back in the 80s, there were all these stories coming out, rock bands that people felt that they were promoting Satan and telling kids to go worship Satan and all this. And if you played the records backwards, that you could hear, Satan talking to you and all kinds of crazy stuff. And there were also a lot of daycares coming to light about how they were homes of satanic cults, and they were taking the children and sacrificing them for, human sacrifices and crazy stuff. We had all that going on in the 80s. Oh, and McDonald's also got sued by some pastor or something, claiming that their packaging was subliminally sending messages about Satan to everybody. So you had a lot of crazy, stuff going on. People were just obsessed with Satan and about how, the game Dungeons and Dragons?
That was
part of the Satanic playing that game because, it was something different and it was something fun and it was like a table game. And when parents found out, because they have all these weird monsters and characters in them, they all freaked out and thought that, their kids were getting in contact with Satan and all of his demons and stuff. Yeah, it was, like I said, it was a whole crazy thing. So this was going on in the 80s when a murder happened of Doc Charles Scudder and his partner. So Dr. Scudder had a PhD in pharmacology from Loyola University, and he was the associate professor in the Department of Pharmacology and Experimental Therapeutics. And he was also the associate director of the Institute of Mind, Drugs, and Behavior. This dude knows a lot about psychedelic drugs and stuff like that, basically, is where, I guess, what we're trying to point out here. So while at the Institute of Minds and Drugs and Behavior, Scudder conducted experiments involving hallucinogenic and psychoactive drugs. So the doctor was thought of as brilliant by all of his colleagues and all that, but he was also thought of as a bit eccentric. He was one of the only professors that actually went and dyed his hair purple. He had a pet monkey. So, all of the other professors and associates were thinking he was a little kooky. And he was also, but none of them knew this, a closeted Satanist. And nobody knew this while he was working at the university. It wasn't until later in our story that we find out, how involved he really was with all that. So it turns out that Scudder was a verified member of the Levian sect of the Church of Satan. And he had statues and paintings of
Baphomet?
Yes, thank you. Baphomet. And pentagrams all over his home. Okay. Like this guy is deep into it. So his partner, Joseph Oldham, was younger than him by 20 years. And it started out that his family had hired Joseph to be their chef, and he was a housekeeper at their house, okay? Scudder had been married twice, and he had divorced both of them, obviously. And he had several children by these women. And by the time his kids had all grown up, and his, second marriage had, had gone through everything, he decided to divorce his wife. He wasn't into her, I guess, anymore. Anyway, he was living in Chicago, and he lived in a really expensive part of Chicago. He had a really nice apartment there, and, his wife is gone now. His kids are all grown up, and him and his chef housekeeper, who now, is his friend, and they ended up falling in love. So now it's his partner, Joseph. They decided that they wanted to move to the country because they're tired of life in the rat race of the maze, and they wanted to not so much under the eye of everybody. So him and his partner, they decided they're going to move to the country. And so they started searching for a home or land or whatever that they could purchase to move to the country. And they finally found 40 acres in the small town of Somerville, which is in northern Georgia. Now, when these two showed up into town, this was a small town, by the way, and it's in the mountains. So, people, they're very close-minded about things, and they're very set in their ways. So you have these two gentlemen show up, and everybody's whispering behind their back about, because they're obviously gay and weren't happy that all of a sudden they now have this couple live in the backwoods. They were building this castle back there, apparently. And so they basically, when they first moved there, so they were coming from Chicago, they're moving to Georgia, they went through a blizzard on their way to their new property. And they had to sleep in their car for 2 days until the blizzard stopped. And then they were sleeping in a tent until they had built their home. It took them about, I think, think it was a year, to build their home. They built it all by themselves, by their hands. They had a concrete mixer that they were using to make the bricks for their home, and they had mortar and all that, and they made it brick by brick. When they were finished, he furnished his home with Renaissance style furniture. So it's basically like crazy looking castle in the middle of the woods. He had stained glass murals of Satan. He had human skulls that he had collected from all his years of working at the university. He was able to get his hands on some human skulls. So he had those like hanging out around his house and stuff. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. They also, when they built this, they were basically off the grid before you could be off the grid. They had no utilities. They didn't have running water. They didn't have electric. They were getting all their food from the land for the most part. And they had to travel down this long road to get all the way down into town. And they would go into town to get, things when they needed them. People of the town thought these two guys were, odd ducks because, they're obviously different and not like their usual people. And rumors started to spread that they were, doing satanic rituals and stuff in the woods because, this was the 80s and everybody's talking all about it. And they had all these weird stained glass windows of Satan and all that stuff. And people would claim that they would see people in cloaks and stuff running around their property. They've heard chanting from the woods, all this kind of crazy stuff that you would associate with somebody having, satanic rituals in their property or in their yard. The manor, by the way, which they had built, it didn't have any corners in it. It was all like rounded. There was no straight edges or anything. Whoa. Yeah, because of the way they had. I'll just send you pictures. It's crazy. And they also had this giant pink gargoyle that was on the top of the roof of their house that overlooked the whole property. Now, people claim or came to think that they had made a deal with the devil and that they had a demon that was protecting the property because there was like a sign that they had posted like near the end of their driveway that said, "Watch out for the thing." So everybody speculated that it was because they had pulled up a demon and that they had the demon protecting their yard. Small-minded people start thinking about. They also, on their property, they had built this pink chicken house, okay? And it was right next to the manor. Now, this chicken house was 3 stories tall, by the way, okay? But this was, I believe, was made of wood from the picture that I saw. And the first floor obviously held the chickens so they could have them for meat and eggs, And then the second floor, I guess, housed like food and stuff for the chickens and that. And then the third floor, they had a pink room of pleasure that they called it. And this room was basically a treasure chamber for them and for people that came to visit. And in the room, they had several mattresses on the floor. They had whips, pornography, and a guest book that was rumored to have signatures of over 300 guests. And this is where our story kind of, where we get to the good stuff. So there was a kid that, a 17-year-old kid by the name of Avery Brock, who would wander onto the Corpsewood property. And he was basically a hunter, and they would allow hunters to hunt on their property. They didn't have a problem with that. And they were basically nice to the people of the town. It wasn't like, they were scaring them off with pitchforks and stuff. Nothing like that. And they had, I guess, because the guy had been a professor and he was involved in a lot of mind-altering drugs and that, he had a lot of weed and stuff that the kids would come and hang out and smoke weed with him and that. Yeah. And they also made their own wine and stuff too. So people would come and have wine and that with them. Yeah. So anyway, this kid, Avery Brock, his father had kicked him out of his home at a young age, and he would come to the manor, and they were nice. They would help him out. They would give him food sometimes and stuff, like I said. They would let him hunt on his land. So over time, he had a friendship with these 2 guys and even joined them a few times in the pink room. So after he had been traveling to the Corpsewood property, Brock ended up telling his friend and roommate, a gentleman by the name of Tony West, about these men that lived on the mountain in his castle. And at 30, West was much older than Brock, and he had his own history of trouble. He had been in and out of jail for numerous types of crimes and stuff. He had also been in mental institutions, so he's not a very stable person, to say the least. Yeah. So Brock and West suspected that Dr. Scudder and Odom were really wealthy and that they were hiding all their wealth and riches inside the manor. Now, this was not true at all. He retired from the university at the age of 50, so he retired very young. So he really didn't have a lot of money, and he got a small inheritance from his mom. But you know what I mean? But they didn't really have, this astronomical amount of money that these two knuckleheads thought they did. So on December 12th of 1982, they invited two of Brock's friends to come over and accompany them. And Brock and West ended up going to Scudder's home. And the two teens were climbing the ladder into the pink room, and, they're getting ready to do, hang out with them or whatever. And Brock brought this stuff with him called Tootaloo. It's basically,
Tootaloo?
Yeah, listen to this. This is pretty messed up. It's a homemade concoction of alcohol, paint thinner, and glue. Yes, that you could huff for a cheap high. I'm like, dude, that's going to kill you.
Oh.
Yeah. So they were like huffing this concoction to help get them really high. So only Scudder joined them out in the pink room of pleasure, while Odom was in the house, doing whatever he, was doing.
Yeah.
So, they're in there and these guys are all talking and all that. So Brock decides to tell everybody that he's going to the car to fetch this little, concoction that he had, and he also grabbed his gun when he went to the car. Gets back in there, and they're drinking and huffing this stuff, and all of a sudden Brock pulls out a knife and he puts it against Scudder's neck, because remember, it's just them and Scudder who are out in the pink room of pleasure. The other guy, Odom, is in the actual house. So Brock pulls out his knife. He's trying to, tell him, hey, where's all your loot at? Take us to the loot. We want all your money and all your jewels and all this. And he's like, we don't have any of that. So he decides to bring him into the house, so he can show him where it all is. So he grabs Scudder around, the neck, and holds a knife up to him and walks into the house. And then the other people follow behind them. Well, while all this is going on, West had grabbed the gun. And so they get into the house, and he ends up shooting Joseph Odom, who is Scudder's partner, right? He was in the kitchen doing some stuff or whatever. So he shoots him twice. He falls to the ground, he's bleeding out. And Scudder, tries to go over to see, make sure he's okay and still alive and all that. And they also had two dogs that this West guy ended up shooting with his gun also, and killed there were two mastiffs that they had. He ends up killing them. Now Scudder's still alive at this point. Gets into a fight with Brock, and so him and Brock are fighting, and the guy West has the gun, and he ends up shooting Scudder. Okay, so now Scudder is in the kitchen. They go start running around, going through all the different rooms in the house, grabbing anything and everything that they can. Now I forgot to mention that Scudder has this gold harp, it's solid gold. Okay, so it's very heavy, that he would play for guests when they would come over. Okay, well, West and the other guy think that they're going to be cool, and they try and grab this harp, but it's super heavy because they figure they can sell, the gold from it, make money off of it. So him and Brock are trying to lift this thing up. They can't lift it up, and, they grab other smaller stuff. They grab some jewelry from there and maybe some, antique coins and stuff, and that's about all they got out of there. It wasn't like they made off with a big haul. But while they're on their way, getting ready to go run off, they notice that Scudder is still, on the floor making gurgling sounds. So he's still alive, and he's actually trying to crawl to, get to the door or get help or whatever. West ends up shooting him point blank in the face, and now, he's dead. So these two guys run off. They grab they had a Jeep. Scudder and Odom did, and funny enough, their Jeep has a pentagram painted on the door. So it's like when they went into town, they would always take this Jeep that has a pentagram. So the people of the town not trusting these guys and think they're Satanist. So those two steal his car and take off on the road, and they're heading to Mexico. Okay, they think they're going to get all the way to Mexico and, just spend all this money or whatever. So a friend of Scudder's and Odom's had stopped by for a visit right after all this happened. And he walks into the home, and it's like this gruesome scene. So he hurries up, races into town, and notifies the police. So the police come out. They were there within an hour. They entered the house, and they found, bloodstained walls from all the shots that they had fired at them. They found overturned furniture. There are bullet casings everywhere. And the sheriff decided he needed to call their own, Bureau of Investigation. and the state crime lab. So they all come and they're trying to figure out who did this and, how did this happen and what's going on. So when they were going through the house, though, they found all these crazy things. So you had the satanic statues and paintings. You had whips and chains. There was a woman's wig in there. There was pornography everywhere. There was vials of LSD. There was human skulls. I mean, it was like quite sight when these guys got there. I mean, they'd never seen all this stuff before now. They're just like this really small, mountain town.
Yeah.
So people are trying to figure out what happened to them. Well, news also breaks, making them out to be the bad guys, Scudder and his partner, Joseph Odom, because the news is running with these stories that the bizarre killing of 2 reclusive devil worshippers and their homosexual activity, while noting the discovery of unusual sex devices and all this crazy stuff. So it keeps propelling this case, higher up, and, it's getting a lot more attention. So meanwhile, Brock had begun hitchhiking home after he and West had a falling out. They're driving around in Scudder and Odom's SUV that has a pentagram on it, and they figured they better get rid of it because once they notice that car's missing, they're going to be looking for it everywhere. So they hurry up and they have this big fight over it because I guess the one guy wanted to keep on going and the other one felt really bad about what happened because he had been friends with them and he just wanted to go back. So Brock ends up going back to Texas and the police in Louisiana recover Scudder's abandoned Jeep. And after a license plate check, they realize, what's going on. So Brock is, going on to his journey and he ends up back home, Chattanooga County, and he calls his mom and they figured out who had done it all and they have a warrant out for Brock's arrest. So Brock went to a gas station and then called the police and they came and got him. So now West, who, after him and Brock had this huge falling out and he was, they were on their way, they were in Texas when this all happened, on their way to Mexico. Well, West made it as far as Missouri before deciding to reverse course and to head back east. So he ended up shooting a Marine and stole his car to continue on. So he has, besides killing the 2 gay guys, he now also has a Marine's murder on his hands. So he went to a gas station. He had run out of gas. He was penniless. He was exhausted from all this. And he found a police officer. He was like in some little coffee shop or something, on the side of the road, and went up to him and told him what he had done. So he ended up turning himself in too. Oh. So, yeah. So after this, people are still villainizing these poor victims that, didn't deserve for their lives to be cut short by these 2 people that thought they were going to steal all this money that they did not have.
Yeah.
So a lot of the newspapers were just crazy headlines were showing up everywhere. Scudder and Odom were described by authorities as homosexual devil worshippers who lived in a dank castle-like home cluttered with skulls, pornographic material, and an extensive occult library and statues of Satan, serpents, lizards, and frogs. I mean, it's all crazy. So by February of 1983, both Brock and West ended up getting sentenced for all their wrongdoing they had. The one guy ended up getting 3 consecutive life terms because, he had shot at the 2 guys, the 2 gay guys that lived in the castle, and then he had also shot the Marine that I told you guys about. And the other guy, West, he had only shot at, I guess, one of them, but he also got in trouble for killing him, but he didn't end up in jail as long as the other guy did because he tried to say like the LSD drugs and all the other stuff that they had been given by Scudder had made him have hallucinations, and that resulted in him killing Scudder. So he got away with not as long as a sentence as the other guy. Today, though, the property is privately owned, though lovers of the macabre still make pilgrimages to the site. Months after the murders happened, arsonists torched both the manor and the chicken house. Over the years, though, souvenir hunters have pilfered the pink gargoyle and any remaining signs of their property. But people say that the owners that are on there now and the police will let you, if you want to, you can walk onto the property in the past couple of years. I don't know if that's changed. And you can actually go hike up the mountain and check it out for yourself to see where you know what I mean? Because there's still some of the original manor, or whatever you want to call it, still there because they had made it out of concrete and stuff. So, but yeah, that is the crazy story of the Corpsewood Manor killings, murder. Yeah. It is pretty crazy. There's a lot going on in that story. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you, the reason the spider lilies are called spider lilies because they look like spiders.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
They I sent a photo if you look at it.
Oh, yeah, I am looking at it now. Ooh, they do look creepy.
Do you see how they the little legs it almost looks like?
Yes, they do have the little legs, yeah. Huh.
And they'll just, fields of them will just bloom.
Oh. I mean, it's pretty, but...
Yeah, they're pretty, but it's
Yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to own one now.
Well, you could grow them. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm not growing that.
With
I don't
your
want to bring bad luck.
Fritz will eat it.
Right? Right? Yeah.
Die.
Right? I know. He probably would. He's kind of that dumb.
I know. That's why I'm like, he might be stupid.
Yeah. Dude, if we eat netting from a roast and, live to still be alive and, drink a whole bottle of rum and eat brownies.
All of his heartworm pills at once.
I have no idea how this dog... Yes, all of his a year's worth of heartburn pills at one time, people. I don't know how this dog is still alive, but he's still alive and kicking it. He's always on my counters. I have to hide everything from him, otherwise he's bad. He does. It's probably from all the years of hanging out with Nacho. I think he's confused.
Yeah, he tries to get up on counters like a cat would.
He does, and he always lays on the back of the couch like a cat. He's a weird dog.
Didn't he get up on the fridge?
Yes, that's where he got the heartworm medicine from. He climbed up on the fridge and ate them all. I know.
He's crazy.
He is. And it wasn't just his heartworm pills, it was also heartworm pills for Lucy.
Yeah, the other dog.
So our other dog, who weighs more than him. So I'm like, oh my, he's just nuts. He really is. He's too much sometimes.
Or he's just enough.
I don't know. But anyway, yep. So that's all I have today.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed the podcast today, please be sure to follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Two Scaredy Cats Podcast. And don't forget to leave a review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It really helps the show get discovered. And tune in 2 weeks for our next episode. And to you, all our scaredy cats and kittens out there, remember, curiosity didn't kill these two scaredy cats.